Hey, how's it going? Well, I'm almost there. 11:30 a.m. tomorrow morning, or late morning, I guess, will be the end of my 72-hour fast. Honestly, didn't think I would get this far. Last time I went on a 72-hour fast, I was so exhausted, so tired, and so lethargic that I genuinely was having difficulty like walking. I pretty much laid down the rest of like the last day. Um, in fact, that first time I went on a 3 day fast, I decided to go on the fast because I had 2 days off after my work day. And this was like 3 years ago. I decided to go on my fast starting the workday so I could finish the fast with the other two workdays so I wouldn't have to worry about working while fasting. Turns out that wasn't a great idea because the supervisor could tell that I looked very exhausted and out of it around the halfway mark of my shift. So they recommended me to go home, so I did that. And then the next 2 days were even more brutal. But this time, for some reason, I decided to go on the fast all 3 days going to work. And I didn't mind at all. And I think the reason why has a lot to do with the fact that I decided to use electrolytes in my water as well as half a teaspoon of salt in my water, sea salt and then Himalayan salt. Um, I read online that if you put electrolytes and salt in your water and mix it up and drink it when you're on a fast throughout the day, you will maintain energy levels. You will not get tired or dizzy or groggy and or muscle cramps at all. So when I found that out, I was like, well, I'll give it a shot and see what happens. And lo and behold, I am on day 3. I gotta be honest, at the start of this morning, I was feeling the burn from the, reaching the second day this morning. I definitely was feeling quite tired and fatigued, but for whatever reason, and this was before I drank my electrolyte waters, by the way, my coffee. After I drank those, I started to slowly pick things up. And then eventually, when I went on my second 32-ounce bottle of water with salt and electrolytes, I really started to, you know, gain my energy levels back to standard levels again. Whereas when I started the day today, I was so exhausted that I honestly didn't know if I could make it to work. But lo and behold, just kept on drinking my electrolytes, and yeah, I ended up being completely fine. My work shift, got to be honest, when I started, I did feel a little on the fatigued and tired side. But as I got into my shift and I continued drinking that electrolyte water, I just kind of slipped back into the rhythm of things. Um, I think the reason why I was so tired and fatigued in the morning was, well, I haven't had food in like 2 days up until that point. And when, you know, and I was just low on energy. But yeah, I'm glad I was able to do this. I only need to wait until 11:30 a.m. tomorrow morning, and I will have completed my 72-hour fast. Yippee! It shouldn't be too hard. I literally have to sleep for a large portion of that wait time, and then the rest, it's like I'll probably be up by between 8:30 to 9:30, and so it'll only be between um, 3 to 2 hours before I get to eat. So that's exciting. Really happy I finally have achieved that. It feels really rewarding. So yeah, almost at the home stretch. Exciting. Okay, moving along. So when I got up, as I said, I was very groggy, very tired. Um, and I remember I got a call from my middle sister who asked me if my youngest sister was on their way because they were both going to a con. Um, my youngest sister was helping my middle sister sell prints. So I asked my youngest sister if she was on her way. She said yes. She left. I pretty much sat in the living room, kind of energy drained and not knowing what to do with myself. I was like, oh man, I'm kind of dehydrated. I probably should make my electrolyte water. So I forced myself to get up and I was walking there until suddenly I saw something horrific. There were flies and maggots all over the floor, and I noticed that the trash can, which hadn't been taken out like 3 days, was loaded with maggots. It was a really disgusting sight. So when I saw that, I was like, well, I gotta deal with this. So I went into my room. I put on my shoes, or socks and shoes. I got the vacuum. I turned it on. I sucked up all of the maggots and the ants into the vacuum. And then I I put on some cleaning gloves because I didn't want the maggots to touch my skin. And I grabbed the top lid and lid holder on top of the trash bin and put them down. Some maggots were crawling under them, and it was pretty gross, and they were like falling and stuff. And then there were some that were caught in the cracks and crevices of the trash bag that, was like it was, in a wave out from the bag or from the container. So I got a broom and I swept the maggots down all around the trash bag container till they were all gone. I vacuumed every single one of them up, and then I got the trash bag. I tightened it. I tied it up. I pulled it out. Luckily, there were no maggots on the outside of the trash bag, only on the inside. So I immediately pulled it up. I ran to the nearest black trash can, and I threw that disgusting trash bag in there. And then I came back. I put a new black bag in. I put in the lid container and the lid on top of the trash bin, and vacuum up the rest of the maggots I could find on the floor, including some that were hiding underneath the mat, which was disgusting, but glad I caught them and vacuumed them up. And all's well as ends well. All's well as ends well. Everything was back to normal, so thank goodness for that. That was quite a horrific way to start the morning, not gonna lie. So I got my electrolytes. I got my water canteen that I brought with me from work. I opened it up. I filled the water canteen with 32 ounces of water. I measured it almost exactly. It was like 32.1. Then I put half a teaspoon of this product called Highlight in there to ensure I get my electrolytes. And then I put half a teaspoon of salt, but not before wiping the half a teaspoon measuring thing dry with a paper towel so the salt wouldn't stick to the spoon. So once I had that in there, you sea salt, by the way, I closed it and I shook it up, and then I opened it and started drinking. I greeted our family friend. We had a pretty interesting discussion, and then I decided to go into my room, and I decided to find something interesting to watch on YouTube to distract me from my tired, fatigued state of mind. And I found this YouTube video by Preston Dennett where he was talking about a guy who allegedly decided to walk into a UFO, and he met a being, and the being said he could ask any question he wanted and the being would give him an answer. And so the guy did, and like basically the guy said, yeah, we're from another planet, but it's behind the planet you guys are aware of, but you don't pay attention to the one that's behind that one, but we're behind that one. And then I think later on he said, oh man, well, actually, we're in space right now, and that's our main command ship. And he points out the window, and there's like this giant plump-looking device outside. Um, it was pretty interesting. I noticed that the Preston Dennett's ability to use AI video technology is kind of improving. Before, he would just like have still frames, and then he tried to add movement to those frames to see what he could come up with, but then like it was kind of awkwardly put in and out of there, and so it looked kind of stop starty. And now it's kind of starting to be more relevant to the story he's saying as he's talking about it, but it's still a little jittery in terms of its editing style, because like sometimes you have the start frame and the end frame, and then it kind of just stops at the end frame, and yeah. So yeah, but it seems like he's getting slightly better, it would seem, when he's using that to communicate his cases and stories, so that's kind of neat. Well, after watching that, which I didn't finish, I think I watched only like 15 to 20 minutes of it, I decided to make a cup of coffee, give myself a sense of something that I was eating, even though it was still liquid. Then I went into the den, and I decided to watch this new video from Dan Dingell, where he decided to make a video where he was challenging himself against artificial intelligence. So basically, he would create like a story, or he'd ask a ChatGPT to write a story for him. Then he would make a stop motion animation based off of that story. And then he would send the exact same prompt with the first frame of his stop motion animation to an AI video generator. And then he would grade which was better, his or the AI video generators. And one of the funny things about it was when he was like grading each one, he showed like his profile pic, which is like a monkey with like sunglasses. And the AI, he decided to use the character from the movie I, Robot, Sunny. Yeah, he decided to use Sunny with his like face. It was the funniest thing in the world. I gave it a big thumbs up. But yeah, basically he managed to edge out AI in total wins because he, was just using complete and total creative ingenuity and on the fly thinking to get his results. And it kind of reminded me why I liked doing stuff like stop motion and animation so much. It's like, oh yeah, that's why it's fun. It's because it's kind of like you're improvising as you're going along and trying to find the story, even though you originally started with another story. You're going into a completely different story as you're working on it, because it's kind of organically growing as you're going along. So yeah, I thought that was really cool, really interesting, really awesome. Well, after that, I remember what happened after that? Oh yeah, I was watching 2 Dr. G videos. One called Disclosure Day, where he was trying to parse if President Trump had revealed existence of extraterrestrials accidentally. And he watched it, and basically he was like talking about, yeah, people like this, they're real big fans of the UFOs in the space. It's amazing, huh? And then after he said that, he said, yeah, and they're discussing extraterrestrial things, and it's really cool. And right when he said extraterrestrial, both Marco Rubio and the guy sitting next to Trump, well, they were both sitting next to Trump. They both looked like they looked kind of like, oh shoot, is he going to say something he shouldn't? Either they were looking at him thinking, oh no, is he going to say something classified? Or they were looking at him thinking, wait, no, don't say that. The people are going to get the wrong impression. It could go either way. But it was interesting. Interesting analysis by Dr. G, for sure. Apparently, Dr. G believes that he did accidentally slip something up. But I guess we'll never know unless he just straight up walks out on the podium and says, by the way, guys, aliens are real, and then they roll out the bodies and the craft. That would be great. Will they do that? Probably not, but it'd be cool. Well, after that, I watched another Dr. G video where it was talking about Jeffrey Epstein and basically going through his character through the different files and how he was a creepazoid and a guy who pretty much enjoyed having power over powerful people. Yeah, really, really horrific person. Don't like him. And yeah, that's pretty much it. After that, I decided to turn off the television. I got dressed for work. I combed my hair. I had a long discussion with Google Gemini about different financial ideas and things like that. And then I was ready to go to work. So I said goodbye to our family friend, told her that I love her. I went in my car. I drove off to work, and I punched back in, and put on my work vest and said hello to everyone. I told a few other people that I was on the fast, and they were like, "Ooh, pretty cool." And then after that, it was pretty much just a standard day of like constant sweeping, of taking out trash, of taking ice that broke and sweeping it away so no one would slip on it. I went on my first break. I decided to do some breath work on my first break. Felt pretty good, not gonna lie. And that I did the Breath of a Sandy Cosmic Energy breath work, by the way. Went downstairs, continued. I took out the trash, all the trashes before my lunch break. And then I punched out for my lunch break, and of course I'm on my fast, so I can't eat. So I pretty much spent all that lunch break researching using Gemini what's going on with the fast and how come I'm not feeling hungry right now. And apparently it stated that I'm not feeling hungry because my body's using my own body fat as fuel, which convinces the brain that it doesn't need to eat. So that's pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. Also, I'm in full autophagy mode right now, so my dead cells in my body are being converted into brand new cells, and I'll have a hypercharged immune system by the end of this whole fast thing, apparently. So that's pretty cool. And then I found out that apparently when you go on a fast, you can melt between 1.5 to 2 pounds of pure body fat over a 3-day fast. So that's pretty cool. I didn't know that. Well, after learning all of that, I went downstairs. I punched back in. I brought in the bunch of bags. Oh yeah, there was like a trash leak of stuff before my lunch break. It was like meat, like blood, I think, and some milk, and I had to wipe that for my break. That's what happened. But yeah, I returned. I brought some bags. I brought them to the front. Evenly divvied up the bags between all the check stands. I made sure to bag when the cashier needed my help. And after bagging, I would be wiping down the check stands, come back whenever they needed help. My coworker, who was my co-closer, brought in the carts and signs. I was very grateful for that. I actually managed to, and I punched in all my sweeps on time as well. And I actually managed to wipe all the check stands down before the 10:30 point, which was the first time that's happened for me. Normally, it takes me till like 10:40 or 10:50. Maybe it was because it was a slow night, so there wasn't a lot of people around, so I had more time to wipe the check stands, but I don't know. Oh, and when I decided to clear a lot because I had a lot of time left, someone left their phone in a Mart cart, so I gave that phone to the co-manager for the night so they could put in the lost and found. I plugged the card in. Oh yeah, that was another thing that happened. There was like a coworker who normally like walks with their food, but in the cart, but they decided to take a Mart cart with them, which was interesting because normally those Mart carts are for like people who have compromised body, right? But he stands up and walks around just fine. So the fact he took that was like interesting. I guess he felt like he needed it today. But yeah, they wanted me to bring it back when I was taking an order out. Oh yeah, I took orders out too. So there you go. So yeah, I helped him and said goodbye and drove it back. It was an interesting behavior I haven't seen from this person before. Thought it was worth mentioning. But the guy who left his phone, he came back and was like, "Hey, do you guys know what happened to you?" And then I said, "Your phone," and then he like gave me a high five, and then like our manager came and brought him his phone, and he was really thankful and happy about that. So that was cool. Oh yeah, and I forgot to mention earlier in the shift, like around the time I started, I helped like this lady find out the price and the shelf life of like a forever flower, and it's like a flower in like under a glass tube. So yeah, that was pretty cool. Okay, now jumping forward, my cashier co-worker decided to wipe down the check stand for me, which I was very grateful for. Yeah, very happy about. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. And then I decided to fill one of the cleaners before punching out. I closed the produce blinds. I made sure to sweep produce so it would look good. I said goodnight to one of my coworkers who's going to be gone for 17 days to get some surgery done. So I wished them the best. I went back to the front. I punched out. I said goodbye to my co-closer who helped with the carts and signs. I told them I cleared a lot. They were very thankful for that, so that was cool. And then I said goodnight to my co-manager. And then I went in my car. I drove back home. I arrived. I greeted my sister. I took my magnesium pills. I brushed my teeth. And yeah, I think that's about it. Oh yeah, I was like watching some videos on my phone when I got on my. Well, oh no. Here's what happened. I was listening to a 11 reader with Mr. who's a famous movie star who starred in cowboy movies all the time. I'm forgetting his name, but use that person's voice to read this YouTube comment about the Phoenix Lights incident. And as I was listening to that, I remember like having movie theater quality popcorn. And I was like, how do I get that? So I looked it up on Gemini, and apparently you need this thing called flavicle like seasoning. So I looked it up on Amazon. I found it. I decided to purchase it for like $9.73. So that's coming in 2 days. So I'm really looking forward to that. And yeah, then I decided to record this video. So that's pretty much the day in a nutshell. It was a pretty solid day, all things considered. So yeah, thanks for watching. Appreciate your time here, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye, everyone.